to the Our Minds 2020 podcast with your host, me, Jemima. Hope you guys are okay and you've been keeping safe. And thank you so much, those of you who listened to my previous episode last week. Much appreciated. So, today we are continuing on from what we spoke about last week, which was red flags. And last week I spoke about red flags in relationships. And I gave the story of my ex, Mr. Red Flag. Well, today we are talking about red flags in friendships. Now, last week, in last week's episode, I spoke about how, and this is just my opinion, you can disagree, but I really don't think that red flags, they are exclusive to romantic relationships, like dating, boyfriend, girlfriend, that type of thing. I think red flags, they also apply to friendships. So today I'm going to be talking about this one particular friend of mine. Well, we're not actually friends anymore. But this particular friend, they tie in very, very nicely with Mr. Red Flag. So, go get yourself a drink. Go get some snacks, make yourself comfortable, and let's get into it. Actually, wait, before we get comfortable, or before you guys get comfortable, couple of points that I just want to make. Number one, the same way that I didn't want to say my ex's name in last week's episode, same applies today. I am not going to be saying this person's name, this ex-friend. Is that what you call a friend who's no longer your friend anymore, an ex-friend? Okay, this ex-friend, we are going to name them, or I have named them Red Flag Friend. Okay? Red Flag Friend. The reason why, same reason as last week, is just out of respect for them. Although we are no longer friends, they could be living the best version of themselves right now, and I just don't think that their name really needs to be mentioned. I just don't see the point. Yeah. And the second thing is, with this story, it's in no way at all to shame them, embarrass them, make them look bad. I am just as much to blame for the demise of this friendship as them. We're equal, but it's a story, it's a situation that happened, and I'm going to share it with you guys. Okay, now you can get comfortable, and now we can get into it. Okay, so first things first, how we met. We met many years ago. I think I was, how old was I? Maybe 22? I think I was 22. Yeah, but we met at work. And back in the day, I used to work in a call center. And I believe that Red Flag Friend, she had been working there for about 3 years, because I was fairly new there. And you didn't even have to be friends with her to know that she was very much a social butterfly. She knew everyone. She was very, very talkative, always smiling, always jovial. She just looked like she was a good time girl in a nice way. So anyway, this one particular shift, it just so happened that her and I sat next to each other. And I had my phone on the table. Now, anyone who's worked in a call center before, you would know that you can't have you're told not to put your phone on the table or have your phone on or even on silent or on vibrate, because it disrupts the phone lines. But anyway, I had my phone on and I had it on vibrate, and it kept vibrating. And that was because my ex at the time, not Mr. Red Flag, this is a different ex, he kept messaging me because I had found out that he was doing the dirty. He had cheated on me, basically. Oh my God, my heart. Anyway, so my phone just kept, going off, just constantly going off. So red flag friend, naturally she's sitting next to me, she noticed and she said, oh my God, somebody's very popular. And I was like, no, I'm not really that popular. This isn't Friends or anything like that. And I explained to her that, oh, it's actually my boyfriend. And I said to her, oh, because I found out not too long ago or earlier on in the week that he had cheated on me. So she was like, oh my God, I'm really sorry to hear. And I was like, oh, yeah. Anyway, at that point, my ex-boyfriend, he then called me, and being young, dumb, instead of just like hanging up or just not picking up the call and just switching off my phone and putting it in my bag, me like an eager dum-dum, I answered the call and I ran to the toilet to go and speak to him. So I came back from the toilet, sat back down, and she was like, oh, what did he say? So I told her, and then she was like, oh my gosh, it's just like me. And it was at that point, in the first, half an hour, that I was shown my first red flag from red flag friend. It was very, very, very apparent that red flag friend, she loved, and when I say loved, I mean from the capital L right through to the capital E. She loved to talk about herself. Absolutely loved to do it. And there I was telling her, oh yeah, I've just come off the phone to him, and he was telling me that no, he hadn't done what I thought he had done. And she was just like, oh yeah. You know what do you think? This is what a guy that I'm dating, this is what he's been telling me. And we spent the remainder of, how long was that particular shift? 3.5 hours, just completely talking about her and her life and her woes with this guy that she was dating. It wasn't even a boyfriend. And I kind of just sat back and I thought to myself, well, okay, whatever. It's not like she's my best friend. It's not even like we're friends. We were just two girls sitting together during a shift and we're just talking. Okay, she was just talking. I was just sitting there listening. And I thought, okay, it's nothing. Yeah, it's fine. If anything, she's actually quite a nice distraction. So I don't have to think about my own problems and woes with what I was going through with my then ex. So anyway, end of the shift came. And I thought, okay, that's it. We're done. And she turned, bless her heart, she turned around and she said to me, oh, thanks for listening, Jemima. When are you next working? So I told her. And she goes, okay, well, next time you're in, let's sit together again. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. And it was from then on that we eventually became friends. And we became quite close friends. We would hang out, normal friendship stuff, hanging out, calling each other up on the phone, texting, going for lunch, going for drinks, going around to each other's houses. We became like real good solid friends. Now our friendship, it went on for like, oh my God, how long did it go on for? For like maybe 10 years. And 10 years, that's a whole decade. That's a very long time. And I can't deny there was a very common theme within our friendship. Number one, whenever I would tell her a story, or whenever I would, go to her because there was something on my mind about anything, boyfriend trouble, work issue, whatever it was, she always knew how to relate the story back to her, to the point where we then start to discuss her problems, and then I become agony Aunt Jemima and start offering her advice, encouragement, support when I was the one who was going to her because I was going through some shit. The second thing was, I noticed whenever we would agree to meet up or do something together, there were a few occasions, not all the time, but a few occasions where she would literally just kick me to the curb. I don't know what it is with people just kicking me to the curb. This was back in the day anyway. And she'd be like, oh yeah, I have to admit though, unlike Mr. Red Flag, she would give me enough time. My toe wouldn't be in the restaurant before I got a text message to say that, oh, I can't make it. At least with red flag friend, she would cancel on me like the day before. I don't know why I'm laughing, it's so stupid. So anyway, she would always kick me to the curb. And there was one point in our friendship whereby we were planning on moving in together. And we were going online and we were looking at flats and looking at areas in London that we could move into. And one afternoon, I met up with red flag friend in Camden. Camden is a spot in London for those of you who are not from the UK. Anyway, met up with her, and I had found this really nice 2-bedroom flat. I think it was in Islington, which is another, nice part of London. And then she was like, oh, Jemima, I have this other friend of mine, I can't even remember her name, and I think I'm gonna move in with her. And I was like, you know that noise that a scratched record makes, where you're like, hold on a minute, for the past however many months, it's been you and I trying to find a flat together, and then all of a sudden, this other lady who, I don't know who she is, I don't know where she's come from, you're now moving in with her. So it was at that point I should have said something to her, communicated with her and said, what the hell? So what's happening with us? But what I did was, oh, okay, no, that's fine. That's all right. Yeah, if you want to move in with her, that's absolutely fine. Okay, no, it's fine. I understand. No, I didn't understand, and no, it was not fine. So why could I not stand up for myself? Because I didn't love myself. But anyway, maybe, I don't know, a couple of weeks later, 2 weeks later, we went to the cinema together, and she was talking about how this new lady that she was, her new friend that she was moving in with, the places that she was showing her or suggesting, they were quite expensive and well out of red flag friend's budget. And at that point, I don't know what came over me. Confidence, common sense, I don't know what came over me. I said to her, you do realise that it's out of order, the fact that you've just dashed me to the side and you're now moving in with this random friend that you've only known for 5 minutes. And because I had hit a nerve, red flag friend said to me, what do you mean? No, I haven't. I've known her for blah, 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 however long she's known her for, which was only a few months. And in my eyes, that's not that long. Okay? From like almost 10-year friendship to somebody that you've known for a few months, it's really not a long time. So anyway, I could see that red flag friend was getting a bit annoyed with me, and I didn't like it. So I then backed down, thinking to myself, oh no, I don't want to make her angry. I don't want to lose her as a friend. I don't want to upset her or anything like that. So then I started to back down and started to agree with what she was saying. And I was like, actually, yeah, you know what? I'm sorry. Yeah, moving with her is absolutely fine. No, I just had a hard day at work. Like, I'm coming up with some really silly excuses. Anyway, fast forward now, a good few months later, she told me that she had found a new job all the way in Canada. And I think it was it was a really good job actually. It was some graphic designing job in Canada, which obviously meant that she would have to leave her life here in London and go and move over to Canada. And she was planning to have goodbye drinks at some swanky bar. Now at the time I was like, yeah, absolutely sure. I'll, go to the drinks, I'll say bye to you and what have you. Like, this is my friend of 10 years. Leading up to her leaving drinks, that was when Mr. Red Flag ended things with me. And as I mentioned in the previous episode last week, I was absolutely heartbroken. I was just devastated. Any of you who has been through a heartbreak, you know that feeling. So I was absolutely devastated. Not only was I dealing with the heartbreak, I now had to find somewhere else to live in a very short space of time leading up to Christmas. So red flag friend, she would text me and she'd be like, oh, what do you think about this place? I wouldn't reply. I'm heartbroken. She would then text me and say, oh, what if we do the leaving drinks outside of London? Again, didn't reply. She tried calling me, didn't pick up the call. And I was just ignoring her, not because she had done anything wrong, but like I said, I was going through a heartbreak. I was broken. Anyway, I think it might have been 2 days before. Was it 2 days before? I think it was 2 days before. She sent me another text message and she was like, listen, Jemima, hope you're okay, but please let me know if you can make Saturday or not, because I need to give the restaurant or whoever final numbers. So it was at that point I thought to myself, you know what, I can't ignore this girl forever, and it's really, really bad that my good friend of 10 years, she's going away and I can't make her leaving drinks. So I texted her back and I said to her, hey, nearly said her name. I nearly said her name. I said, hey, red flag, yeah, sorry I've been silent. And then I went on to explain to her that the reason why I had been silent is because Mr. Red Flag had broken up with me. Anyway, I told her the whole reason. She was silent for a while. For a while, meaning maybe like an hour or two. I messaged her via WhatsApp. And you know when you're on WhatsApp and you message somebody, you can tell if they've read your message because you see those two blue ticks. Yeah, those two those two ticks were highlighted in blue. So I knew that she had seen my message. And I also knew, deep down in my heart, yeah, she's not really going to say much to me. I'm not really expecting much from her. Anyway, after like an hour, she messaged me back and she said, "Oh, babe, I'm really sorry to hear. Kiss, kiss." And that was it. Now, when I tell you, yeah, that was it. I mean, that was it. I didn't see this friend. I didn't hear from her until about 3 years later, when I bumped into her when I was on my way to lunch. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls in the back. My friend, my good friend of 10 years, when I told her about my plight, my heartbreak, and my living situation that I was being chucked out of the house, I didn't hear from my good friend until 3 years later, when we bumped into each other as I was on my way to lunch. You heard me correctly. Now guys, I can't even lie. I wasn't even upset, sad, confused. I just took it like that. I just took it like that because I knew that red flag friend she would never be able to really give me anything. And when I say give me anything, I mean encouragement, support, things that your friend should be able to give you, things that you should have within a friendship. And just a slight pause here, this goes back to our first encounter when we were sitting together, working together at the call center, and she was constantly always talking about herself. She would never make time. Well, I mean, I can't really speak for other friends. I don't know. However, when I come to think about it, she was somebody who had a lot of friends, like a lot of friends. She was the type of person who, if you went out with her one evening, I guarantee you, she would speak to about 5-6 different people and she knew all of them on a certain level. And you're just like, wow, you pretty much know everyone. And she's like, yeah, I know this person through this person. And I met up with this person when we went here. And this person is a distant cousin or my second cousin twice removed. Like, she knows everybody. So with me, I feel like I was just an accessory in her life. Somebody to go to because she knew, without getting big-headed here, that I was a good listener. And I was kind of a good friend. And whenever it came to me and me wanting a bit of support, it was just never there. because I don't know, maybe she didn't see me as a friend. I have absolutely no idea. Anyway, 3 years had passed, and it was a really hot summer day, and me and my other really good friend, who he knows who red flag friend is because he had met her a few times, we were both on our way to lunch. And as I'm walking into the restaurant, I could hear somebody calling my name. And I thought to myself, oh God, somebody's calling my name. So I turn around now and it's red flag friend. And I was so shocked to see her because, like I said, I hadn't spoken or seen her in 3 years. So I was like, oh my God, it's you. And she goes, yeah. And oh my, do you know what? Let me just breathe here. Do you know what she said to me? She said to me, oh, Jemima, you don't call me anymore. The fuck? I don't call you? What? Hold on a minute. Wait a minute. And I said, what did I even say? I was a bit, you know when somebody says something to you and you're not quite quick with your comeback because you're looking at them thinking, really? It takes a second for your brain to process the information that has just been said to you before you can actually react. That's what happened to me. And then she was like, oh, have you changed your number? And it was at that point my brain kicked into gear. And I said to her, well, if you tried to call me, you would know whether or not my number has been changed. And that was when her brain kicked into gear. And you know when you can read somebody's face, you can read somebody's thoughts based on the expression on their face. I could read that from her. And she quickly tried to change the subject. And she was like, oh, there's so many things that I need to tell you. And she was about to get into her life story with me. And I was like, no, sorry, darling. No. That ship, that big ass Titanic ship, that has sailed, honey. Right now, I'm actually with one of my best friends and we are going to lunch. So God bless you. You take care and bye. I didn't even say to her, oh yeah, I'll speak to you soon or see you soon or let me take your number again. Nope. Because at that point, it had been 3 years. And within that 3-year period, I had started to do the work on myself with regards to my mental health, my emotional well-being, and just generally learning to love myself. So I cut that off. I completely cut it off. And I just thought, if you really did value the friendship, and if you know from what I could read from her face, if you know that, okay, yeah, I wasn't really the best and I kind of left you stranded when you really did need me as a friend, she would have at the very least, picked up the phone to say, oh, hi, Jemima, it was really nice seeing you that time when you were going to the restaurant with your friend. To this day, nothing. And that was what? 2017, 18, 19. That was, again, 3 years ago. Nothing from her. Absolutely nothing. I'm not really that bothered, though, that I haven't heard from her. Like I said, sometimes in life, people are cleared out of your life and cleared from your pathway to make way for better people, better friends, better circumstances, and better situations to actually be there. And it also made me think as well of all the times that I spent, advising, planning things with her, supporting things, or supporting, her through some really challenging times that she had been through, nights out, calls, texts, all the things that you do with your friend. And like I said, this friendship went on for 10 years. And it did hurt, but it didn't hurt like a heartbreak hurt. It was a different kind of hurt. But then I didn't allow myself to be too hurt by it, because that red flag was shown to me very early on in the relationship. The fact that my thoughts, my feelings, my emotions, things that I had gone through, they were completely dismissed. And what she was going through, things that she was dealing with, they were more important. But yeah, I can't deny, I thought to myself, all the times that we spent together, 10 years of friendship, and that's what I get? Like, that's what I actually get. Yes, I felt salty, and I feel like I had every right to be salty, I'm not gonna lie. But what I'm trying to say, guys, is friendships, I truly believe that they also have their red flags. And part of me got angry, maybe or during my journey of, dealing with my mental health. I got angry because I thought to myself, well, like I said a few minutes ago, that all that time spent encouraging her and supporting her, and that's what I get. And then I had to stop myself and think, why should I, or even anyone else out there who's been through a similar experience, why should we get angry for doing good? For doing the right thing? Why should we feel guilty? Why should we feel bad that we took that time to support and encourage that person, that friend, that partner, or whoever? But I definitely take it as a lesson. For sure, I take it as a lesson. And it's also made me aware never to put myself in that situation again. Now, at the start, I did mention that I do have my part to play in the demise of the relationship. And the reason why I said that is because I never really communicated to Red Flag Friend how it was or how I was feeling, basically. I would always either start, and then when I could see I was hitting a nerve, I would then retreat. And I would then start saying to her, oh yeah, you know what, you're right. When no, she's not actually right. My feelings have been hurt. I have been kicked to the curb. I am the one who I can't talk to you. So no, I'm not right. Not to say that she was wrong as well. Her actions weren't the best. And who knows, she probably was going through her own things. And maybe in her life, she didn't have anybody that she could speak to, or, nobody listened to her. So here I am, lending her my ear, and she's taken full advantage of that. But whatever the scenario, I should have stood up for myself more, and I should have made my feelings more aware, if that makes sense. But I didn't do that. And if you don't tackle something, if you don't say something or talk about how you are feeling and take the necessary steps in order to better yourself, then you're agreeing to however that person is treating you, So in a weird way, I was allowing for Red Flag Friend to treat me this way because I never stuck up for myself. And I never stuck up for myself or voiced my opinion because I didn't have any self-love. And I also felt as though my opinions, they just weren't valid. And I thought my pain wasn't valid and that her pain was much more than my pain. And because her pain was more, then her pain is valid. No, both our pains are valid. Both our stories are valid. And the thing is, she wasn't the only friend who showed me, their or her red flags. I had a couple others as well. And this is the fantastic thing about life, because the same way that Red Flag Friend was removed from my life, so were the other two friends that I had. And it was like God literally just came in with his, biblical broom, and just swept out all of the people who were not supposed to be in my life, whether it be the job that I was in, relationship, friendship, like everyone that wasn't supposed to be there. He just clean swept them out of my life. And I can actually say, hand on my heart now, that the people or the friends that I do have in my life, I'd walk over hot coal for them. They are the ones who are meant to be in my life. Because rest assured, if I'm struggling, if I'm not myself or I need encouragement, they are there lifting me up, and that is what you need. So to whoever is out there listening, Don't feel as though, oh, I need loads and loads of friends, because really you don't. It's about the quality of the friendship. And that quality of friendship, they need to support you. They need to encourage you. They need to be able to listen to you, not just hear you, but listen to you as and when you have a problem. And you do the same for them, because that is a friendship. I highly encourage all of you, please, take it from a pro here. Do not ignore red flags, from romantic relationships to friendships as well. Be around people who genuinely love you, who care about you, who want to support you, who motivate you, who push you to do better. Those are the people that you need around you. And if you do come in contact with a potential friend who is showing you red flags, it's okay to distance yourself. It's absolutely okay. I remember this one person, should I say their name? No, but they were on Instagram, and they were saying how how can I shorten this story down so I'm not talking for long? They were basically saying that they didn't want to let this friend go because it was the only friend that they had. However, that friend was never really there for them. And I did listen, you know what? I had to message them and I said, that's not a friend. I'm sorry, that's not a friend. And you are doing yourself a disservice by hanging on to this person who really doesn't care about you. Find people who care about you and who love you. And that's all I said. And then they didn't really reply back to me. They just put a like next to my comment. And I thought, well, take from that or do with that as you will. But guys, don't ignore red flags across the board. They are there for a reason. They are a warning sign. Dating, friendships, co-workers, family, extended family, they are there for a reason. Do not ignore them. As I always say, surround yourself with people who love you, because those people who love you, they are the ones who are going to motivate you, lift you up and support you. And in this thing called life that we are all doing right now, we need it, especially now. We really, really, really do need it. So that's my time. As always, I hope that you have taken something away from this episode. I will be back again next week Monday at 6:00, and I will be talking about my top 5. What my top 5 is, you have to tune in next week. But as always, guys, be kind to yourself, be kind to others, and go live your life. God bless you all. See you next week. Bye.